So with all the talk going on about our cold Arctic blast happening next week and the possibility of maybe somewhere in the southeast seeing some wintry precipitation, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we even get that winter precipitation in the first place. And it's hard to do that here along the Gulf Coast. But what meteorologists look at is the temperature profile of the atmosphere. So imagine this is a cross section of the atmosphere. In order for us to get rain, which we see quite a bit here in South Mississippi, most of the column of air all the way down to the surface is above freezing. However, what happens when we get freezing rain is that there is a shallow layer of below freezing air near the surface, but there's a warm layer aloft, and it's a fairly thick portion of the atmosphere that is above freezing. So it may fall as snow, it melts, and then it refreezes at the surface. Whenever we get sleet, though, that warm layer is pretty shallow. So the snowflake melts just a little bit and then it refreezes near the surface. And then in order to get snow, you have to have the whole column of air below freezing, including right at the surface. And as we know, that really doesn't happen too often here in South Mississippi, where we can get that moisture and all of that cold air to come together to get snow. But on an occasion, some years, we do have some chances of seeing some freezing rain, some sleet, and even some snow. It just doesn't happen too often. But in order for us to get that here along the Gulf Coast, we really pay attention to the track of where an area of low pressure is going to develop. And that's what we are going to be watching, it seems like, at times next week, if we can get the moisture to set up along with that. So in order for us to get some of that wintry precipitation, we need this area of low pressure to move far enough to the south to where that warm air at the surface stays farther to the south, and we can see a little bit of that cold air sticking around. So in order for us to get any of that wintry precipitation, we have to have the track of the low pressure system to move farther to the south. If it moves too far to the north, that whole column of air stays above freezing, and that would lead to more rain.